I can't wait to tell you about what I have found on researching my Currier Ives blue and white dishes. I'm going to be looking at my notes and I'm going to carry you through what I've learned, and then I'm going to show you my collection. It has meant the world to me to have these dishes. I started collecting them when I was only 18 years old. I went to my first summer moving to go to college right out of high school. I went to a flea market with some of the people I had just met and saw these dishes for the first time, and I've been in love with them ever since. I got the bulk of them when my ex-husband bought me a huge set from an auction, and at that time, I think I was 25. So I've been collecting these for a while, and I hope that you enjoy learning about them as much as I have. The history of the dishes has floored me as I have done the research for this video. Currier Ives was founded in 1835 by Nathaniel Currier, and in 1854 he was joined by James Ives, and so it became Currier and Ives. I did not realize that they hired other artists, but here's what happened. And over time, they produced over 7,000 colorful prints, and the prints depict American life and the history and the culture from the 19th century. And they used lithography, which and it made it for popular home decor and provided us a visual recording of the era. And they worked with a lot of artists, like I said, and I did not know that. These artists created the original drawings, and then the prints were colored by hand by teams of young women. So the lithographs themselves have a wonderful history, and the dishes are made from scenes of those lithographs. The lithographs, and as do the dishes, they have a vast just all kinds of different American subjects, everything from historical events and early American life to rural scenes to winter scenes. You'll see outdoor activities like hunting and fishing, and there's even going to be transportation, trains and clipper ships and cities and industries. And so I can't wait to share all of this with you. And so they were considered visual storytellers. Who else do you know that's a visual storyteller? Hello, any YouTube creator, filmmaker, anybody that does anything on film is a visual storyteller. Currier Ives were probably the first to do it, or one of the first, I should say. They had a visual language that helped depict American history. And let's see what else I can tell you. Oh, and of course we know that their work was so popular. We see it even to this day on cards and calendars and other decorations. And so I also want to clarify for a moment that antique is anything that's over 100 years old. Anything that's between 22, depending, to 99 years of age is considered a vintage piece if it represents the era that it came from. And so that's the difference between vintage and antique. These aren't quite antique dishes. Like some of the valuable vintage dishes are Fiesta Ware, Royal Dalton, Spode, Mycene, and Limoges. These are vintage pieces, but they are not valuable vintage pieces. But they're invaluable to me, priceless, absolutely priceless. So the lithography is a reversed raised image that's etched onto stone tablets, inked and impressed with paper. And then the one color lithographs, like I said, they had young women that were embellishing them with hand applied extra color. And then a multicolor lithography was later perfected. And looking through, so I'm looking through my notes and trying to talk to you at the same time, and I'm so excited I'm almost tongue-tied. But the Currier and Ives, they depicted images like American apple pie and lemonade, you know, just the down-home wonderful goodiness of America. And they have been, the lithographs and the prints and everything have been out there for over 100 years. I'm going to tell you about the dates of the dishes in just a moment. So the dishes, they first were done by Heritage Mint Limited in Churchill Tables of England, and they created the original Currier and Ives dinnerware series, and it was available in collector blue or chestnut brown at the time, believe it or not. And there were 5-piece place settings, and along with the completers back then, and I have some of the completers as well. And there's harvest scene, early winter, autumn in New England, the mill dam at Sleepy Hollow, and Peace to This Home. Now they come in brown, green, pink, and gray. And those names that I just read off are some of the lithographs that they used on the dishes. Let's see, what else can I say? Oh, they started in the U.S., the dinnerware, started in the U.S. in 1940 by the Royal China Company of Sebring, Ohio. And they began producing the Currier and Ives dishes here stateside from 1950 to 1986. And that's a 37-year run that produced millions of pieces. And just so you know, again, those dates are 1951 to 1986. And even though they were introduced in the 1940s, that's pretty much when you'll find these dishes from 1951 to 1986. Keep in mind that lead wasn't banned by the FDA in dishes until 1971. So anytime that you go to get dishes that are before 1971, you can count on them probably having lead in them. And then there was that some other companies picked up the Currier and Ives lithography scenes on their dishes, including Anchor Hocking and Glassbake. So you'll see some of the familiar ovenware that has some of the, I think, less defined pictures of Currier and Ives on them, but that is not the original Currier and Ives. If you find some that have the scroll work on them, see, here's some scroll work, and I'm not going to show you my piece yet, but can you see that scroll work? This is considered scroll work in the border. Those were usually done between 51 and 56, and especially if it is found in the handles, like of the teacups and the sugar bowls and the teapots and things like that, and that makes those pieces more valuable. So let me run over some of the I'm so excited. I'm probably talking too fast and I apologize. But let me go over some of the pictures of the lithography that they used on the dishes. So in Country Life, you will find maple sugaring, the old farm gate, Home Sweet Home, the old grist mill, which is probably one of the most common ones, A Snowy Morning, Harvest, Schoolhouse Winter, Early Winter, Old Inn Winter, Getting Ice, American Homestead Winter, Horse and Buggy, the Old Oaken Bucket. And then in landscapes, you're going to see Rocky Mountains, Suburban Retreat, Low Water in the Mississippi, Central Park, Express Train, and Loading Cotton on the Mississippi. I might be missing some, but historically too. Hi, Finn, that's my dog. Those of you that watch my channel regularly know him. But they also did some historical lithographs on the dishes, like the birthplace of Washington. Hi, buddy. He says, hi, Mama. I'm going to come say hi. It's okay. Hi, buddy. And so with that, that's kind of the overview of the history of how the pictures of Currier Ives came to be on the dishes, and like I said, I actually have a 16 place setting and then a lot of completer parts, and so I'm going to share those with you now. Okay, this is the old grist mill. See the mill back there? What I love about these is it has the people in them, it has the horse, it has the running river, it'll have different things like the house in the background, the oxen pulling a cart that you might not can see very good on here. But that's why I love these dishes, and not all of them are stamped. I have a lot that are stamped, and this one just, it happens to say the old grist mill. You will find when you go to see these in antique stores and everything, they're not always going to have the stamp on them, and it's not that easy to find out which lithograph is pictured. I have done my best to get those names for you as I go along and show you my pieces so that you can see the different lithographs and look those up if you want to. But this is the old grist mill, and this is the 10-inch dinner plate. I think, or is it the 12-inch? Anyway, that's the dinner plate. Now this is, let me get this for you. I'm so excited. So this is considered a soup bowl, and it's called a rimmed because it has the rim on it. Some do not, some are not fluted, but this has the rim on it. And this is called Early Winter. They're out there ice skating. What else? I just love it. And this is an old house, and it's got the rocks that they are walking on if they're not skating. Anyway, I just can't tell you how much I love these pieces. So that was Early Winter, and it's in a soup bowl. Now this is the saucer and the saucer and the cup that I have. It's a horse and buggy. Can you see that? It's a lady on a horse and buggy. And above that, I don't know if y'all can see that, but above that is a fence. But anyway, it's a horse and buggy. But interestingly enough, on the saucer that goes with it, it is a, where did I find my notes? Oh, it's from the lithograph Low Water in the Mississippi. So you got In the Mississippi and Horse and Buggy for your cup and saucer set, which I'm like, that they were just so ingenious on these designs. This is one of my favorite pieces. It's called the Old Farm Gate Cherry Bowl. And it's got the kids playing on the old farm gate. And you might not can see it in here, but in the lithograph, looking out one of the windows is an adult, presumably to check on them and make sure they're doing okay. But this is a fruit bowl, or called a cherry bowl. And it is one of my favorites, the Old Farm Gate. This is just called Harvest. It's from the lithograph called Harvest. And this is the bread and butter plate. And you can tell that that's exactly what they're doing. They're doing harvest. And it's wagons and men and women and children all doing their part. This is what's called an underplate because it normally sits, pretend this is a gravy boat, normally sits under the gravy boat. And the gravy boat, I can't find mine. I had two of them. They have two handles just like this, and they're called tab handles. I can't find that gravy boat, and so I had two of them, but they sit on here and they kind of match. But this is called the Old Oaken Bucket, and he's at the well outside the house. Just the details are just incredible. But this is an underplate for the gravy boat. Oh, this one, let me get this bottom one. I'm having to stack these up very carefully because I've got them out of the cabinet and it makes me very nervous. This is another one of my favorite pieces. This is called Old Inn Winter. This is an inn. And of course it's in the winter. Hi, buddy. It's in the winter. And I just, again, there's an ox. You can't see it, but there is a lady on the porch and she's all decked out. And in front of there is a horse and an old-fashioned ski carriage. anyway, this is a 13-inch oval serving platter, and I just love it. And I'm going to pull from the bottom so I can restack these right. Oh, and this is another tab handle. This is the Rocky Mountains. I thought at first that might be Yosemite, but they're saying it's the Rocky Mountains. And this is a tab handle. Remember, these are called tab handles. And it's called a chop plate. I guess you probably put meat on here, but it's a serving platter or a chop plate. And it's just simply called, the lithograph is simply called Rocky Mountain. They're pulling up by oxen coming up out of the valley, and it's got a waterfall in it. Don't know if you can see that. I would love to see this original lithograph. And down here they've got a fire going by this camp. Just such fun on these pieces. And I did this video for you guys as well as for me, so I can have the history of these, because I keep forgetting it and I keep having to look it up, and now I can have it on here forever. Oh, this is a pie plate, and I just love it. It's called American Homestead Winter. He's hauling hay to come feed the livestock, and you can see the snow is already gathering on the roofs and everything. How cool is that? And the fence that they would hand make back then. So these accurately depict American life from back in the day. And then this one is a large vegetable. I don't see my notes on it. I've lost track of where I'm at on this. This is Homecoming, but I don't think that I didn't write this one down, but I remember from my notes. This is Homecoming, and you can see he's coming home, and the kids are running to him. They're so excited. And what I also love is that the dog behind him is jumping on him. But this is called Homecoming, and this is a vegetable bowl. Isn't that lovely? I'll go over to my cabinet and show you the rest of my collection. I hope you're enjoying this. Let me know in the comments below. This is something from my completer set, what they call completer sets. It is a casserole dish, and it is showing the area, and it's called Central Park. So it shows a carriage through Central Park. The lid shows a couple riding their horses through Central Park, and I'm having to be very careful. I don't want to drop this. And on the button part of the lid, it shows a couple sitting in Central Park. So how cool is that? Now I'm going to set this down and put it back in my cupboard. My furniture piece is called a sideboard, and that I just showed you, I was so excited I didn't even say, was a casserole dish. This is a teapot, and this is a clipper ship. Let me see my notes. It's called the Clipper Ship Dreadnought. That was from that lithograph, and it's got people on it, the clouds. It's just amazing to me. And then on the lid is the Lighthouse Tusker light. I'm not sure where that is. I didn't research that, but I love how, for me, if you don't line it up, see, it gets all cattywampus. So for me, when you line it up just right, when you get that straight, it all lines up beautifully. And it's got the scroll on the teapot part. Love this piece. I'm going to put it up too. In the top drawer of my sideboard, I keep a few small pieces like this. This is a covered butter dish, obviously, and mine happens to be, again, I believe, a Central Park theme, and it matches underneath. There were several different designs for the butter dish, but this is the one that I have. The salt and pepper shaker is also horse and buggy, and then of course it's got salt and pepper. Oh my gosh, I just love it so much. Then I have a couple of creamers of the express train. It's also known as the locomotive, but it's the express train lithograph. It's a creamer. And then this is Loading Cotton, but it's got a specific name. Yeah, Loading Cotton on the Mississippi. Making sure I get that right. Loading Cotton on the Mississippi. I just love this. I don't know if you can see it on the phone, but they are actually docked, and you can see the scene down here of where they've pulled up and they're loading cotton. And then the button on the lid just says that it is a couple walking. That's from the lithograph of a couple walking. So I love how they took different pieces and put them together. And that is my collection, you guys. I hope that you have enjoyed this. I've enjoyed sharing it with you. There are few things that bring me such joy. My loved ones, my friends and family, my dog, my late dog Bandit. But these dishes are so close to my heart because I just started collecting them on my own so long ago, and I just love them. There are pieces I'm missing that I would love to have. Too numerous to list. There, you know, there's glassware, there's a clock, there's a double-handled big casserole dish that I don't have. There's just a lot of pieces that as I travel, I'm always going to be on the lookout for, and you never know. As I add to it, I will let you know. But as a nomad, 10 years, 5 years living in a cargo van, and now 5 years in an RV, and now I'm going from full-time to part-time because I have this lovely casita and a sideboard that I can actually see my dishes and enjoy them. I am beyond thrilled. What dishes do you have, or what do you have that means the world to you? Thanks, everybody. See you on the next video. Bye.